Here's where most gardeners get it confused. November isn't when your garden goes to sleep. It's when next year's masterpiece begins. Years ago, I scattered perennial seeds across my garden on a frosty November morning. My neighbor leaned over the fence, puzzled. "The ground's practically frozen," he said. "You're wasting your time." But when spring arrived and those seedlings burst through, stronger, earlier, more vibrant than anything I'd coaxed along indoors, I discovered something transformative. The best gardens aren't built by fighting the seasons. They're built by dancing with them. Hey there, and welcome to Greenhaven Hacks. Whether you're new here or you've been growing with us, I'm thrilled you've stopped by. This is where we trade garden theory for garden truth. What actually works when your hands are in the soil. Today, we're exploring 7 remarkable perennials you can plant right now, this November, that'll reward you with stunning blooms next year. These aren't temperamental divas demanding constant attention. These are resilient plants that actually prefer fall planting, returning faithfully year after year. Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We've got incredible content coming your way, and I'd love to have you growing alongside us. Why November changes everything. Let me explain what makes November planting so brilliant. Many perennials require cold stratification, a period of cold exposure, to wake up properly. When you plant in November, winter becomes your gardening assistant. The seeds experience cold, moisture, and natural freeze-thaw cycles, emerging in spring already primed for growth. November hits that sweet spot. Cool enough to prevent premature sprouting, but still workable in most zones. You're not battling nature, you're partnering with her. 1. Echinacea, the purple powerhouse. Let's start with Echinacea, the purple coneflower. If you want beauty, toughness, and pollinator magnetism all in one plant, this is your answer. I scattered Echinacea seeds one crisp November afternoon in a prepared bed, barely covering them. The ground was cold, and honestly, I had my doubts. But late spring arrived, and those seedlings pushed through with determination. By their second summer, gorgeous pink-purple blooms with prominent centers attracted every butterfly and bee around. Here's the magic. Echinacea seeds need cold exposure. November's temperatures prevent early germination, while winter provides perfect stratification. Once established, they're drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, and incredibly low maintenance. Choose full sun and well-drained soil, crucial for winter survival. Scatter seeds on the surface and press gently. They need light to germinate, so don't bury them deep. Water if dry, but regular November rains will handle the rest. Next spring, seedlings emerge. They'll grow steadily through summer, and the following year, a breathtaking display that returns annually. Even better, Echinacea self-sows, multiplying without effort. It's the garden gift that keeps giving. 2. Rudbeckia, golden cheerfulness. If Echinacea is elegant beauty, Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susan, is your garden's sunshine ambassador. Those golden yellow flowers with dark centers are absolute showstoppers, ridiculously easy from November-sown seeds. I once had a sad, bare stretch along my fence. On a gray November day, I sprinkled Rudbeckia seeds there, barely thinking about them through winter's darkness. Then June arrived, and that entire section exploded with golden blooms lasting months. It transformed the space completely. What I love about Rudbeckia, it forgives everything. Poor soil? No problem. Heat and humidity? Handles it. Cold winters? Unfazed. It's the plant that makes you look like a master gardener effortlessly. November sowing takes advantage of natural cold stratification. Seeds stay safely dormant through winter, germinating when spring conditions are perfect. They'll grow into sturdy plants, blooming their first year if you're lucky, definitely by their second season. My method: loosen your soil and remove debris. If the ground's hard, just rough up the surface. Scatter seeds and lightly rake them in, covering with about 1/4 inch of soil. Water gently if dry, or let November rains do the work. Next spring, you'll understand why black-eyed Susans are cottage garden staples. They'll self-sow and naturalize, creating drifts of gold annually. They're also fantastic cut flowers. Bring that sunshine indoors whenever you need it. 3. Aquilegia, dancing fairies. For delicate charm, meet Aquilegia, columbine. These flowers are like dancing fairies with their distinctive spurred blooms in purple, pink, white, blue, and yellow. I planted columbine seeds one November in partial shade under my trees where nothing else thrived. The ground was cold, leaves falling, strange timing for planting. But I learned columbines actually prefer fall planting and need cold stratification. What surprised me was their enchantment. Spring brought seedlings with distinctive blue-green leaves. By late spring of their second year, graceful plants were covered in nodding blooms that seemed to float. Hummingbirds discovered them immediately. Watching them hover and dive between flowers with my morning coffee after the long gray winter felt like celebrating life's return. Columbines thrive in woodland gardens, cottage gardens, or part shade to full sun. They're not soil picky as long as drainage is good. Once established, they're surprisingly drought tolerant. For November sowing, scatter seeds in prepared soil and barely cover them. They need light. Press gently and water if dry. Through winter, those seeds get essential cold treatment while November's temperatures prevent premature germination. Here's something special. Columbines are short-lived perennials, lasting about 3 to 4 years. But they self-sow generously. Once planted, you'll always have columbines, appearing in unexpected places each spring. As they cross-pollinate, you'll get unique color combinations found nowhere else. Your garden paints its own masterpiece, starting with those November-sown seeds. 4. Delphinium, cottage garden majesty. Dreaming of tall, stately flower spikes from English cottage gardens? Delphinium is your answer. These plants produce stunning vertical towers in incredible shades of blue, purple, pink, and white. I'll be honest, delphiniums intimidated me initially. They have a reputation for being fussy. Then I learned that November-sown seeds produce stronger, more resilient plants than spring indoor starts. That changed everything. My first attempt, mid-November sowing in a well-prepared bed. Ground cold but workable, soil rich and well-draining. Delphiniums hate wet feet, especially through winter. I scattered seeds, covered lightly with a quarter-inch soil, watered, then waited through the long winter. Spring brought sturdy seedlings. No blooms the first year, patience required. But year 2, early summer, those plants sent up flower spikes that were absolutely breathtaking. Deep blue towers reaching 4 to 5 feet tall. Every visitor stopped and stared. They were noticeably sturdier than my neighbor's indoor-started plants, more wind-resistant, vigorous, resilient. Why November works? Seeds need cold stratification and benefit from natural winter moisture cycles. November sowing prevents premature germination. Winter provides perfect stratification, and spring-emerging plants are already acclimated to outdoor conditions, tougher than indoor seedlings adjusting to outdoor life. Choose full sun with wind protection. Those tall spikes can be top-heavy. Enrich soil with compost before sowing. Scatter seeds. Cover with a quarter-inch soil. Water gently if dry, or let November precipitation handle it. Delphiniums appreciate some extra care, consistent moisture, staking when tall, and mid-season feeding. But the reward, those spectacular spikes, is worth every bit of attention. In many climates, they'll bloom twice. Early summer and fall if deadhead after the first flush. They're the showstoppers that make people ask, how did you grow those? You can smile and say it started with November-sown seeds. Quick question for you. Have you tried fall sowing perennials, or have you stuck to spring? Which of these 4 speaks to you most? Cheerful Rudbeckia, elegant Echinacea, enchanting columbine, or dramatic delphinium? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely love reading your experiences, and your insights help our entire community. Let's continue with 3 more incredible November perennials. 5. Lupine, bold architecture. Want bold color and architectural drama? Lupines deliver. These plants produce tall, dense flower spikes in an incredible range. Purples, pinks, blues, whites, yellows, even bicolors. I first grew lupines accidentally, a wildflower mix scattered in November. Ground cold, winter approaching, expectations low. Spring brought distinctive palm-shaped leaves I couldn't identify. Then late spring of year 2, up came magnificent flower spikes that took my breath away. After the long cold winter, those bold spikes felt like nature celebrating warmth's return. Lupines are beloved worldwide. particularly famous in New Zealand and the Pacific Northwest, where entire fields create almost surreal landscapes. Why November works. Seeds have hard coats, benefiting tremendously from winter's freeze-thaw cycles. Some gardeners scarify seeds, lightly scratching the coat to help water penetrate. But November nature does that work, naturally breaking down the seed coat through repeated freezing and thawing. Choose sunny spots with good drainage, especially important for November since you don't want waterlogged soil through winter. Lupines have deep taproots and dislike transplanting once established, making fall direct sowing ideal. Plant seeds 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. If ground's hard, press into the surface and cover lightly with soil or compost. Water if dry, or let November precipitation handle it. By next spring, you'll see why lupines are so celebrated. Those sturdy seedlings will grow into plants producing flower spikes for weeks. They self-sow, so once established, you'll have lupines returning annually. And their nitrogen-fixing roots actually improve your soil, a gift that keeps giving. 6. Campanula, charming bells. Looking for delicate charm? Campanula, bellflower, is wonderful for November sowing. These plants produce masses of bell-shaped flowers, usually blue, purple, or white, incredibly versatile in gardens. I planted campanula seeds one cold November afternoon in a rock garden where I wanted something to soften stone edges. Air cold, hence chilly, honestly wondering if I was wasting time. I chose low-growing Campanula carpatica, scattered seeds between rocks, pressed gently, and hoped. Spring brought tiny seedlings after what felt like endless winter. They grew slowly but steadily through that first season. Year 2, early summer, those plants absolutely covered themselves in upward-facing blue bells, like someone scattered blue stars across my rocks. The transformation from bare stones to flower-covered landscape was incredible. What I love: versatility. Tall varieties for borders, medium heights for cottage gardens, low-growing types for rock gardens, containers, or edging. Most are very hardy and long-lived once established. November's sowing works wonderfully because seeds benefit from cold stratification. Sown in late fall, they get natural cold treatment through winter, germinating more reliably and vigorously come spring. Here's how. Prepare weed-free areas with good drainage, crucial for November. Campanulas aren't soil fussy but absolutely don't like waterlogged winter soil. Scatter tiny seeds on the surface. Mix with sand if that helps you see placement. Press gently but don't bury deeply. They need light to germinate. Water with fine spray if dry, or let November precipitation handle it. By next spring, those seedlings emerge. Once established, campanulas are remarkably carefree. They'll bloom for months, often reblooming if deadhead. Many varieties self-sow, creating delightful surprises each year. After a long winter, those cheerful bells are like the garden welcoming you back. 7. Digitalis, Foxglove magic. Let's end with one of the most dramatic cottage garden plants, Digitalis, Foxglove. These produce tall spikes of tubular flowers that are absolutely enchanting, usually in pink, purple, white, or apricot. I'll never forget successfully growing foxgloves from November seeds. I'd admired them for years. Those tall, stately spikes covered in spotted tubular blooms seemed almost magical, like fairy tale gardens. One November, as days shortened and temperatures dropped, I prepared a partially shaded bed and sowed foxglove seeds. They're tiny, almost dust-like, so I mixed them with sand for even distribution. Scattered on the surface, pressed gently, watered with the finest mist. Then winter arrived, long and cold, and I honestly forgot about them. Following spring, dozens of tiny seedlings emerged. They formed beautiful rosettes of fuzzy leaves that first year, no flowers yet. I kept them watered through summer. Then the following spring, after another winter, up came flower spikes. Tall, some reaching 5 or 6 feet, covered bottom to top with gorgeous tubular blooms with spotted throats. Bumblebees climbed inside flowers, emerging covered in pollen. After 2 winters of waiting, seeing those spectacular blooms was absolutely magical, the garden rewarding patience. Here's important knowledge. Most foxgloves are biennials, not true perennials. They grow leaves year 1, bloom year 2, then die. But they self-sow prolifically. Once you have foxgloves, you'll always have them, scattering seeds, new plants coming up annually, blooming in rotation. November sowing starts this beautiful cycle. November is perfect because seeds need cold stratification and light to germinate. Cold temperatures prevent premature germination, while winter provides perfect stratification. Sow on weed-free prepared soil surface. Press gently for good soil contact, but don't cover. They need light. Water with very fine mist if dry. Choose partial shade to full sun depending on climate. In hot areas, they appreciate afternoon shade. Soil should be rich and moist, but well-draining. Especially important for November. One crucial note. All foxglove parts are toxic if ingested. Plant away from areas where children or pets might nibble. But for garden beauty and pollinator value, they're unmatched. When those spikes appear late spring or early summer of year 2, your garden will have that classic English cottage look many of us dream about. Knowing that journey started with November sown seeds makes it even more special. Essential November sowing tips. There they are, 7 incredible perennials you can sow right now. Each brings something special, bold color, delicate charm, or architectural drama. Best part? By sowing now in November's quiet, cold days, you're working with nature's rhythms, not against them. Before wrapping up, practical November-specific tips. Soil preparation in cold weather. November soil can be challenging, cold, sometimes partially frozen, definitely not spring pleasant. But you don't need perfection. Remove debris, dead leaves, or weeds from planting areas. Loosen the top inch or 2, no deep digging needed. If ground's very hard, simply rough up the surface. For heavy clay, consider adding a thin compost layer after sowing to improve winter drainage. Most perennials dislike waterlogged soil, especially through freeze-thaw cycles. Mark your areas. Critical advice. Come spring, after months of snow or rain, you'll have no idea where you planted seeds. I cannot count how many times I've accidentally weeded out seedlings because I forgot I'd planted there. Use durable markers, stones, or small stakes surviving winter weather. Your spring self will be grateful. Water wisely. After sowing and initial watering, leave them alone. November typically brings plenty of rain or snow, and that natural moisture is exactly what seeds need. Overwatering can cause rot, especially in cold soil. Once you've watered them in, only if ground is dry, let nature take over. Winter precipitation handles everything else. Don't fear snow. Many new gardeners worry when snow covers November sown seeds. Don't. Snow is wonderful insulation, protecting seeds from extreme temperature swings and providing moisture as it melts. Think of snow as nature's blanket. When I see snow covering November plantings, I feel relieved knowing those seeds are protected and getting exactly what they need. The hope of November planting. There's something profoundly hopeful about November planting. November can feel like an ending. Gardens dying back, leaves falling, the world turning gray and cold. But planting perennial seeds in November is a statement against that ending. You're saying, this isn't over. This is a beginning. In a world always rushing, demanding instant results, planting perennial seeds in November is an act of deep faith and patience. You're literally planting seeds that won't show full glory for a year or more. You're trusting cycles you can't see, processes happening beneath frozen ground, the promise of spring when spring feels impossibly far away. But that's part of the beauty. Gardening teaches us to think beyond the immediate, connecting us to cycles larger than daily routines. When you plant these seeds in November, you're conversing with next year's garden, even the year after. You're making a promise to your future self that beauty will be waiting, even though right now the world looks dormant and gray. That's why I love November sowing. It gives me hope during the darkest months. Even when the garden looks completely dormant, even when snow covers everything, I know beneath that frozen surface, seeds are waiting, going through necessary cold periods, preparing for the moment when conditions are just right. When spring finally arrives after long winter, and those first seedlings push through soil, it feels like a small miracle. It reminds me that growth isn't always visible, that sometimes the most important work happens quietly beneath the surface in dark, cold months when nothing seems to be happening. Let's grow together. So there you have it, 7 perennials you can sow right now in November for years of beautiful blooms. Echinacea's purple cones and pollinator appeal. Rudbeckia's golden cheerfulness. Aquilegia's delicate fairy flowers. Delphinium's dramatic spikes. Lupine's bold architecture. Campanula's charming bells. Foxglove's cottage-garden magic. Each brings something special, each perfectly suited to November sowing. You're not fighting nature. You're working with her, letting winter handle cold stratification, allowing seeds to experience necessary freeze-thaw cycles, letting them germinate when naturally ready in spring. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 are you most excited to try? Have you grown any before? Do you have a favorite I didn't mention? Have you tried November sowing? Or will this be your first time? Your experiences and questions help make this community richer, so please share in the comments below. If you found this helpful, if it gave you confidence to try November sowing or introduced you to new perennials, I'd be grateful for a thumbs up. It helps other gardeners find this information too. Not yet subscribed to Greenhaven Hacks? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. We've got so much more coming: seasonal guides, problem-solving tips, design ideas, all the practical advice you need for a garden you'll love. Special offer: subscribe and comment which perennial you'll try first, and you'll be entered in our monthly seed giveaway. We give away perennial seed packets to lucky subscribers every month, our way of saying thank you for being part of this community. As we head deeper into cooler months, remember, gardening doesn't stop when the last flower fades. November is actually one of the most powerful times for gardeners who know how to work with seasons. While others put gardens completely to bed until spring, you can be planting seeds, giving you a tremendous head start on next year's beauty. There's something profoundly hopeful about November planting, an act of optimism, faith in the future, trust in natural cycles. In a world that often feels uncertain, especially heading into darker months, planting seeds says, I believe in tomorrow. I believe in spring. I believe there will be beauty ahead. Isn't that what gardening's really about? Yes, we want beautiful flowers and productive plants. But deeper than that, gardening connects us to something larger, to nature's rhythms, the passage of seasons, the quiet miracle of a tiny seed becoming a magnificent plant. So go ahead, bundle up, grab some seeds, prepare a patch of soil, and plant something beautiful. Your future self, the one wandering the garden next spring and summer, surrounded by blooms you planted this November, will be grateful you took that cold afternoon to scatter seeds and believe in the future. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being part of the Greenhaven Hacks family. Thank you for being gardeners who understand the best things in life often require patience, faith, and working with nature's perfect timing. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, every garden begins with a single seed, a little faith, and the courage to plant even when the world looks dormant. Happy November planting, everyone!